How's it going, guys? What is happening? It is time for the Rookie Design Contest results show. Long time in coming. I do apologize for that. It's a little tough trying to get a bunch of guys together to do everything, but welcome everybody. Wanted to get this done. Two things, obviously. Big announcement tomorrow. So, wanted to get this done before that for sure. Finally was able to get all the judges together and get all the info together and put it together this weekend. So we're going to do this tonight. Get you done before the PlayStation E3 show, that's for sure. Shouldn't be too long. We've got a few things to cover here. We'll go through all the results and we'll be all set for Sony. I forgot what time is it, 8:30 Eastern, 9 o'clock Eastern. I kind of forget what time their show's coming on. The E3 presser. Microsoft had theirs already. It was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. All right, so hey, Golfer Dude, how's it going? See some people in chat. Welcome. All right, so it's just too difficult. Ideally, I was hoping to get all of the judges together, but it just wasn't going to work out. So you got me. No need to see my ugly mug today while we're playing. So the webcam is not on at the moment, but all right. So Rookie Design Contest. We've got here on the board how it all works. There were 12 courses that were entered into the contest. The only requirement was that you had to be a rookie in terms of entering design contests. So either an HP contest or a TGCT Live contest. It did not have to be the first course you've ever built. In fact, I'm not really 100% sure how many of the people it was their actual first course, but that was not a requirement. You did not have to be a rookie designer, just the fact that it was your first contest that you entered. Something a little different. We've had some other contests going on, and in TGCT Live has a few going right now, so we were trying something different. Thought it was kind of fun. I think we got a pretty good turnout. Definitely thank you to all of the designers for throwing your hat in the ring. That was awesome. It takes a bit of courage to throw your design out there for all to see and have it be judged like that. So big ups to the designers. Hey Mayday, how's it going? He says thanks again for putting on the contest. You're welcome. Thanks for taking part. What else we got? A bunch of different themes were chosen, including the winter theme. One course entered, going with the winter theme. Definitely an interesting choice for sure. A few other themes that were used, so that was good to see. Not everybody went with the exact same theme, so that was pretty cool. And the way it worked, the 4 judges, myself, Callie, Driver T, and CSU Golfer, were your 4 judges. The way we did it was we ranked each of the 12 courses from our first place to our 12th place. We gave first place 12 points, 11 points for second place, and so on and so on. And then the numbers were totaled up, and the course with the most points was the winner. What we're going to do for tonight, I basically broke it down. There was sort of a clear line there. I mean, everything, it was tough. I mean, this was extremely difficult. I kind of like the way I did the other contest where I had you guys vote and you guys determine the winner, because that's a lot easier. This was extremely difficult. It is very tough to try and determine a winner. And I mean, at times you're basically nitpicking at things, because there were some courses that were extremely close, and you're just kind of playing it and just things speak to you. That's kind of how for me personally, that's how it worked. I mean, my 1 and 2 courses, when I went through, I would go through, and we had a number of different things, like some of the categories we came up with were bunkering and fairways and greens and course consistency, things like that. So at times I kind of went through my numbers, and my 1 and 2 actually were tied, so I had to go through and play them both again. I played at least each course at least a couple times. I think I might have played a few of the courses more than that, but it just basically ended up coming down to I had to just say, okay, which course did I either enjoy more or have a little more fun on. It just, which one kind of spoke to me a little more than the other. That, I mean, it literally came down to half points in places and things. So it is very difficult. So definitely thanks to the other guys who did the judging as well. I know not an easy task. So all right. So what we did was there seemed to be a little bit of a gap between the first 6 and the bottom 6. So what we did was we're gonna do the bottom 6. We're grouped. We made a bottom 6. Just we didn't rank them. There's no ranking to it. You'll see when I go to the next page. I'm basically just gonna. I have them grouped alphabetical order. There's no rhyme or reason as to why one's at the top of the thing, except for alphabetical. The top 6 are ranked, and so we will go through that. Those were ranked in the number in terms of points and things. And I mean, like I said, it was very difficult. There's some spots where 1 point. I mean, 1 point separated the courses. When you think of I think we had 8, maybe 8 categories. So, you know, it was little things. It came down to little tiny things in some places. So very, very difficult. So all right. So I think we're ready. So I'm gonna show you. These are the bottom 6 that did not make it into the rankings. We certainly, like I said, certainly appreciate everybody, putting their hat in the ring and entering a course into the contest. Even courses that didn't make it, there were good courses in there, but like I said, it came down to little things and a few points here or there. So, don't feel bad if you're in the bottom 6 there. I mean, everybody, it's definitely appreciated that you put courses in there. So, all right, here we go. Take a look. All right, so 6 courses made the positional ranking cut. Like I said, 6 were eliminated as an entire group, and we didn't give ranking to those 6. So, all right, the eliminated courses in alphabetical order was Campo de Golf su Lago de Alpi by VJ Frankie, Deer Harbor at Orcas Island by Skoll, Nanup CC by Schwebs, Napeague Bay by A. Grumney, Palm Island Golf Resort by Ron Run, and TGC at Cedar Creek by Jay Cawthon. So those 6 did not make it into the top. Those were our bottom group. Basically, like I said, it was just done by points. We added up the total points from all 4 judges, and those happened to be the bottom 6. So just looking at it, so here you go, Campo de Golf. It's an interesting course. Definitely had some interesting holes there. He said some neat ideas with the road and the fencing along the roads and things. Wasn't a fan. He had some interior out of bounds. Like on 18, you were hitting up to kind of a planting bed, and it was out of bounds. And then right behind the green, there was some out of bounds. And as you can see, actually, it's not one of the holes, but as you see, he had some roads kind of that were in the picture. And I mean, the out of bounds was extremely close to the road, and so it had some things like that I didn't too much care for. There were some sculpting issues, some tee boxes that weren't quite flat. Like I think you could have widened the flattened brush, and so it got more. So you could see as it was sort of flat, and then it got into the rough, and the rough started going uphill. It was like right on a slope. So had some issues there, but overall, like I said, some really interesting holes. Had a cool, I think it was a par 5. Maybe the second hole, I want to say, but you kind of went out and a dogleg left around the lake. That was kind of cool. You had to put some really interesting movement on the ball there. And one thing, as you can see, like in the picture here, he did a bunch of roads and it had planting all the way down the roads. But unfortunately, and I know this is very difficult to do, and it's probably the reason why I've never done it, but it was basically just the same plant the entire way down. I know there's limitations in the designer. You can't spin them and things like that, but you just got to trying to use some different plants. It would have been a lot of work, but if you're going to do something like that, you really gotta make it work. So I think taking the time to mixing up the plants and in terms of the ones used and things. I think the idea was he was trying to go for a hedge, but unfortunately we don't have that in the designer. So unfortunately that was the situation there. But yeah, good course, definitely worth playing. So hopefully you guys have gone out and given it a play. Oh, shoot, I did this every time I streamed and I forgot. But I think it was Mayday. Maybe he remembers the name. Again, I apologize, but there is a tour out there with all 12 courses. So, at Mayday, if you remember the name, if you could post it up. I don't want to give the wrong name. If you have it for sure, that would be awesome. But there is a tour where you could play all 12 courses, so that would be great. If you want to compete against the other guys, even better would be to play them individually, and that way they'll actually get the play, and you can actually rank it, because when you do the rating, you're basically rating the tour. You're not rating the courses themselves. So, Golfer Dude says a lot of elevation changes on Campo de Golf, some of which were too severe in my opinion. Yeah, it's had some, like I said, like I was saying, there were some tee boxes that were like right on the sides of a hill, and unfortunately the tee box kind of got up into the hill a little bit, and so you had some situations like that. But yeah, I mean, there were definitely some interesting ideas there. So. Again, thank you for submitting the course for sure. Next one, Deer Harbor at Orcas Islands by Skoll. It's a pretty good course. It was kind of felt like you could see this one in real life. Definitely some, overall there were some sculpting issues there, some fairways that needed to be smooth that kind of had those sharp points on them. So it was kind of like, if you could see the mouse here, kind of came out to a point and then back in into a point and back into a point. Whereas fairways, you think would be a little smoother, maybe some rounded issues. So a little bit of issues there. You had some trouble with some giant plants, the Jurassic Park type plants. What else? Yeah, there was. I mean, again, I'm not a fan of OB. That's right in the middle of the course, and there was a hole that had some rocks in the front of the green, and it was out of bounds in there. And I think during my playthrough, I may have actually hit that. I came up just short of getting on the green, and I bounced back down in, and I wasn't in the rocks, but it was out of bounds. So I mean, I definitely could have played it, but it was out of bounds, and it was literally right in front of the green. So, unfortunately, these design competitions, it is personal preference for the judge, and maybe if I didn't hit in there, I probably wouldn't have cared as much. Maybe I don't know, but when something like that happens, it kind of turns you off a little bit. So that. For me, that was a little bit of a negative. Bunkers needed a little bit of love. Could have used a little better sculpting and things, but overall, it was a pretty good course. Oh, Mayday, the tour name is HB Design Contest Rookie Event Tour. Thank you, sir. So yeah, so if you wanna go out and play the tour, there you go. What else? And then another thing too. So, like I said, this competition came down to, sometimes it was literally nitpicking and things, and so we have to pick up on things when we see them, and unfortunately this may have been something that was right there, but when you come up 18, you're facing right at a fence in the back of 18 at Deer Harbor, and they were missing, it was just kind of the fence piece, and then the fence piece and the fence piece. There was no posts in between, so it just didn't look as good as it could have. People, like I said, unfortunately, it may have been the case of the fact that it was right in front of you. You clearly saw it when you came up 18. So that may have been, someone else could have done that off the side of the hole, and maybe someone may not have picked up on it, but it was right there in your face. So it's one of those things, if you're gonna do it, it's got to be done right, and the attention to detail, has to be there. Same thing, like if you're doing, not this in particular, but if you're going to do retaining walls, I mean, you got to make sure it looks right. Cart paths, same thing. You don't have to do cart paths, but if you do, you got to make them look as best you can. So, all right, so that was Deer Harbor. Again, thank you for submitting. We definitely enjoyed playing it. Next one, Nanup. That was another course in the bottom 6 here. Nanup had a few issues going on there. This actually was the best hole, the picture that he did. I really enjoyed this one. I had some nice creativity with the rocks and plantings and things. I remember this definitely being my favorite hole on the course, but he had quite a bit of sculpting issues there. There were a lot of issues where just off the side of the fairway you had some real big humps and bumps and things. I don't remember if that was fairway or light rough, but there was definitely a lot of sculpting issues there. I know on the first hole for sure, down the left side, I mean, the cart path was just full of grasses and plants and behind the green. Now, I don't want to speak for him and say what happened, but I could see maybe he probably did all the grasses first and things, and then put in the cart path, and maybe thought that the cart path would override that and get rid of it. And he just laid the cart path and moved on, and maybe didn't check it. But like I said, if you're going to put cart paths in, we are going to look at it. The judges will find these things. It's what we had to do. So definitely an issue there. It's very difficult. Yes, it is to go back, but you got to do it. I mean, you got to clear those cart paths. What else here? I think this may have been hole number 11. I think I kind of forget, but like I said, this was definitely my favorite hole. So he did a good job with his picture there. Had some texture issues. You had your light rough going down, but then it got to the end of the fairway, and I don't know if it got to the water. And you know how sometimes if you just put fairway right up to the water, it cuts it off. So I had an issue there. So you had light rough running down the side, and then it just ended. There was no light rough around the end of the fairway. So just some things like that. So that was Nanup. Again, thank you for submitting. All right, Napeague Bay. This one by A. Grumney. Really interesting design. I mean, you can see by the picture. He went for some really bold setup here with tons of bunkering all over. It was cool. I liked the idea. I think it could have been done a little bit better. I think, very tough. I mean, this is, like I said, this is very, very difficult. A very bold move to try and go somewhere here because it's very difficult to try and sculpt this sand and make it look realistic. So I had some issues with that. I think maybe some more planting in amongst could have been a little bit better. Again, here, the fairways. I mean, to my eye, and that's basically how I have to judge it. Is how I see it. And it's just a little too much jaggies and things going through the fairways, but definitely some nice ideas. Like I said, the course itself was a very interesting idea, very unique style layout. Had a few issues, like I said, with the bunkers, a few Jurassic Park plants, some really, really big plants and things. And then I had a few issues where I think the views could have been better. And by that I mean, he definitely had a really cool view. And I think, if I remember it correctly, there was a spot where you go through some plants and things, and it was just raised up a little too high. So when you're looking at the green, you just couldn't see the green. So just to take that planting area and everything, and if you just lowered it down, maybe 3 or 4 feet so that you could see over it and see to the green, because I think the green was kind of out by the water and stuff. I mean, it had a really cool look, but you didn't see it until you raised up, if you're using the scout camera or something like that. So just a missed opportunity there. When I design, I like to go down and try and get right to the golfer's eye and see what you're seeing. I know there is the scout camera, but some people play without it, so you got to keep those guys in mind. And but just the overall look, when you're sitting there behind your ball, it looks really cool if you get the full view. So that was Napeague Bay. This course was a tough one for our judging. We actually had one judge actually ranked this quite high. So it definitely, I think it's a course that it just depends on what you like and what you don't like, that type of thing, which everything is, I guess. But like I said, it had a very unique design, very interesting look. I think it just barely missed out on our top 6, so unfortunately for that. But really good. Definitely go out and play it. Napeague Bay by A. Grumney. What's up, Fusion? Thanks for tuning in. All right, so next, Palm Island Golf Resort by Run. This course definitely had some issues with plants here. As you can see, it was the same plant over and over, like the same tree, just running down the sides of the fairways. So definitely need to mix that up, raise up some of those trees. Needed more variety for sure. It was very, very samey in terms of the trees. I mean, every hole had trees just lining the same palm trees like you see in the picture. Every tree, every hole kind of had all those trees going all the way down the side, that type of thing. Definitely some sculpting issues going there. Definitely needed some better sculpting. Had some decent holes, but overall the layout wasn't my favorite. So I think just working on the sculpting, the bunkering, you could see it's kind of flat and things. So working on some of those things. Definitely mixing up the trees would have been a huge change, because I think you just kind of, when you got to the hole, it was like, whoa, you're just looking at like this row of everything, all the same tree, all the same height, going all the way down. Oh no, yeah, symmetrical plants. This one definitely suffered from that. Quite a few symmetrical plants on that one. So that was Palm Island by Run Run. And the last one that did not make the group, TGC at Cedar Creek by Cawthon 22. Again, this was a good course. It was a course that you could sort of see yourself maybe playing. It was definitely a more of a realistic type looking course. Had some sculpting issues. Bunkering was kind of bland. Definitely some hidden bunkers. I mean, not every single bunker has to be viewable, but just there were too many. I think it's kind of nice to, even if you just see a little piece of it when you're looking out there, it just kind of shows you where the trouble is out there. So yeah, that was there, and I don't know, it just didn't have the wow factor for me. Like it just didn't catch my eye enough to rate it higher. It was still a good course. I mean, you go out, like I said, a lot of these courses came down to a few points here and there. So definitely, not saying it had to be fantasy wow, but just realistic wow factor type thing. It just wasn't quite there. I mean, it's a good course. I would definitely say go out and play it, but it just didn't quite get the points it needed to make it up into the top 6. So again, thanks for submitting that one. All right, so that was the bottom 6 there. So we just had a group. There's no rankings. It was all just basically alphabetical. So we're going to move on to the top 6. But first, an award. Yes, we did some awards. We came up with a few things that we had thought of. And what did we have here? All right, so the biggest risk that paid off award goes to Silver Lake for using the winter theme. Very bold maneuver. It was the only course that used it, but he pulled it off, I think. I mean, I really, really like the lush coloring of the textures that he used. He covered up most of the, he left it way off to the side here, but all of the heavy rough on the holes themselves, the fairways, greens, everything was a nice lush color. I really dug the way all the grasses and the plants have that frosty look to it. I mean, not necessarily the mountain tops maybe, but I feel like I've played this before. Like I've played this times. Like North Carolina, you can get a frosty morning, and then by the afternoon it's in the 60s, and you're like, sweet. So that was the feel I got. It really, like I said, yeah, if the course speaks to you, sometimes that's where you're going to judge it, and this definitely picked up on it. I mean, I really like that. I just got the feeling, like in another hour or two, these would have definitely melted off, and you'd be good to go. So that was the award there. Biggest risk I think that paid off was going with the winter theme, but by changing the colors, that was a huge plus. So good job there. So Silver Lake takes that award. So all right, so we're going to move on to our number 6. In 6th place, Blackwood Creek GC by Hailstorm. Definitely a nice course. Another one of those courses you feel like you could have played this in real life. The few issues that I had was the bunkering was okay. It was pretty much the same bunker. I don't think this was a stock bunker. I think he said he'd made it on his own, but pretty much every bunker on the course was the same. So definitely a risky move, but for me it just didn't quite work. Again, and also the stream or the creek, which is basically part of the name, so it's a prominent feature of the course. I think it could have been done a little bit better. I don't know, maybe either just removed it. It didn't have much planting into it. It didn't really excite me in terms of what it could have been. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, hopefully. But there were a couple of rocks here or there strewed in, a few plants, but I think it definitely could have been dressed up really nice, or maybe it just left it, and just had just a grass play into it. But overall, it was definitely a nice course. I think you definitely enjoy it. Had some nice fairways. Greens were good. overall, good course. It didn't miss out by much. Like I said, the points were pretty tight, but this was our 6th place course. So good job, Hailstorm. Thanks for submitting that one. Golfer Dude says, what time will the announcement be made tomorrow? It will be what? It's yeah 6 a.m. Pacific, I believe, is what Reebduke says. I think you're right there. So it would be 9 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Atlantic time. So that's what Anthony posted, 10 a.m. Atlantic, which I think maybe Fusion, if you're there, you could correct me. But I think is that 2 p.m. UK time. Yep. So keep an eye out for that. Skeptic Keith, did the other judges give you what kind of issues they saw? They did. I mean, not specifically. I don't have anything written down, but we actually talked quite a bit. We played some of the courses together. We played a bunch of the courses together, except I would say maybe like 2 or 3 of the courses. But for the most part, we tried to play them quite a bit. At least Callie and Driver T and myself, we all are on Xbox, so we definitely had gotten together and played a bunch of courses. CSU went through and did his rankings and sent them over to me, but he and I didn't get a chance to play them together. But I didn't get anything. They didn't write out anything, but I have all of their rankings and things. Mayday said, to be honest, Blackwood was my favorite. Some minor flaws, but nailed the parkland. Yeah, definitely had nice. Like I said, had nice parkland. Had definitely a course that you felt like you could play in real life. So overall, you're really good. I mean, definitely a good course. It's definitely worth playing. And yeah, I want to mention too that I'm still checking with Anthony. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have a prize for first place. I hope so. I would definitely like to get that. But for sure, all of the top 6 will go on the suggested list. So even 6th place. So we'll even technically win something. You guys will make it to the suggested list at some point. They will not all go on right away because we do look for a handicap course and, if possible, an easy and a hard course each week. So I can't say that, obviously. Well, I don't know. I have to look and see, but I'm guessing most of these will not be handicapped yet, but I'd have to double check. But anyway, so that was 6th place. So moving on. Another award. Yes, indeed. There is another award. Like I said, we have a few in here. So the next award, Most Scenic View Award, goes to St. Xavier National. This water lake he came up with at Lily Ponds looked awesome. Just a very, very cool. If you came down this hole, this was the view you saw. And I mean, I just love the fact you could see another green over here, another green over here. These mountains were done superb. I mean, when you look at mountains from an overhead view, or look at this, is what you see. You see these spines, those kind of fingers that come out. You do not see that. I mean, I know the designer is limited in that respect, but it creates that sheer, kind of stretched cliff face. But don't. If you all possible, don't do the sheer cliff face, the stretched look. This is, I mean, these are done, I think, in my opinion, these are done really, really well. I mean, I just thought this was an amazing view as you came down this hole. Very well done. The hole, the green just kind of sticks out into the water. Yeah, really, really good. So I think that was our Most Scenic View Award. Moving on to 5th place. El Toro Golf Club by Erickson Stone. Another very good course. This one done in the desert theme. Really nice. Again, I just had my only issue with the bunkering. I mean, I thought they were sculpted pretty well, but every single one was this circle bunker. Again, another big risk to take by doing the same bunker throughout the entire course. But for me, I wasn't a fan of that. I would have really liked to have seen some variety. I mean, it doesn't have to be those crazy, big funky bunkers all over the place. But I mean, it was just, I mean, literally every single one I think was this circle bunker. I mean, as you can see, they were sculpted well, but just the fact the sameness of the bunkers was just a little tough for me. But I mean, overall, very good course. Played pretty well, I think, for my liking. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think these greens were firm. I think a medium firmness would have been ideal. I think when I played through it, I kind of remember just going through every single green, but overall, really good. I mean, I love the textures that he used. very nice against the desert. He did some good planting. The desert theme is very, very tough to plant and make look good. But overall, he did a nice job with this one. Definitely worth a play. So yeah, so you'll find this one on the suggested list as well. Definitely a nice course. One of the things that I would say I didn't like was there were a few spots where the fairways were very snaky. If you know what I mean. I mean, just close to the hole, like right, maybe 100 yards out. All of a sudden, it just started zigzagging type thing, and it wasn't my favorite. But again, it was still a very good course. So, good job there. So we're moving on. Another award, yet another one. Yes, sir, another award. And this one, Best Clubhouse Area Award, goes to Velvet Endelberg Golf Club, aka, or the judge's lovely term, the Velvet Elvis. Yes, the Velvet Elvis had. Now, this wasn't a requirement, no, but it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt your chances when you do something like this. I mean, this was really good. Over, far and above the best one we saw at the 12. I mean, just a really nicely done sculpting of the road coming up. It wasn't wavy or anything. It just had a really nice turn up there. I mean, these little sitting area, the buildings, this circular drive with the tree in the middle was great. I mean, the parking lot, the cart areas, driving range. I mean, everything was just extremely well done. So he definitely wins the Best Clubhouse Area Award for that one. Very, very nicely done. I could definitely see the attention to detail in this. And this was really good. Now, sometimes, some people spend all their time. They do all this detail work here, and the course, lacks. But as you can tell, it's at least in the top 4. So the course itself was very good as well. So yeah, really good job. Really, really nice attention to detail and everything. So good job there. All right, we are moving on. We've got 4 left to go. And number 4, St. Xavier National Golf Club by iDrive White Balls. This course was very good. Let me just double check it, but it actually got a first place vote from one of the judges. Really good course, very imaginative. It's funny, but this actual picture that he used was actually what kind of let me down on the course. I just thought all the other courses were nice. They were open. They had some really good things. And then this hole just kind of let me down a little bit. It was a very small green. And then here, it's kind of hard to see it, but this was a straight, sheer, stretched out mountain side, cliff face. The green like butted right up against. I would have loved to have seen continued here. You had like the little spines going on, just like in that picture, the award picture. If that had continued down to the bottom and then the course was next to that, I mean, that would have been so much better. A little bit bigger green. I mean, it was only a 100-yard hole or so. So again, I could understand why the smaller green, and then this here, I mean, the hole just seemed too tight. I think if you had those spines coming down with the green off to the side of it and then got rid of all these trees, I mean, there was tremendous rock work in here, but you couldn't see it. It was all blocked out, really, really tight by the trees, and it didn't work for me. It was just very inconsistent with the rest of the course. Like this hole just, I don't know, to me it felt like it was a different course, and unfortunately that kind of knocked it down a little bit for me. That was one of the small factors that got me. Like I said, I would have loved to have gotten rid of these trees. It was kind of just like a really dark hole. So, hey, if you take these trees out, you could have seen some of the rock work. The cart path kind of went down and snaked down through and back up to the other side. Golf to St. Xavier is aesthetically very nice and a great effort, but sometimes the fantasy aspect took over too much. Reeves said, I thought the planting was distracting. That was a thing. I mean, either you really loved the planting, I think, or you didn't. I mean, it was the rock work and everything behind the green. Some of the greens were really cool, but the plants were very large. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's an Xbox designer, and I think that comes into play because the draw distance on Xbox and PS4 just is nothing like a PC. And so I think designers maybe tend to err on that side and create larger plants so that they can be seen from a distance. but unfortunately, if you get up close, that's where you run into the issues. So, I mean, a very nice variety of colors and variety of plants and things, but they were a little large, like Reeb said. They were a little distracting. So yeah, but he says good course overall, no middle ground. Yep, exactly. Yep, that's the hard part. So I mean, it's a little tough, and that's like I said. I think that's part of it. It's just the I have a feeling that's due to being on console. But overall, this was a very good course. Like I said, it did get a first place vote. Very nice job. Ironically, the picture is actually the hole that I didn't like the most. With a few changes, a little bit bigger green, a continuation of the mountain down, not just that straight cliff face, and then just opened up the hole a little bit. I think that could have been a much better situation there. But overall, I mean, excellent course, a lot of fun to play. Really good job there. So that was our 4th place course. So moving on, what do we have next? One last award. Yes, indeed. We're going to give out one more award, and then we'll have our final 3. So this last award, Coolest Feature Award, it goes to Laurel Run Golf Club. At least for me, and I know a couple of the other judges commented on this as well, but I'm a fan of the rocks. I do like the rocks, and the first time I saw this, I was just said, wow, I thought it was awesome. I mean, the car path kind of comes up. It was very well done. It turned through the rocks. The way the rocks came down, the layering of the rocks, I thought was spot on. He's got some planting in there. I just thought it was extremely well done. For me, this is like super realistic. I could totally picture that, and I would just be like, it would be so fun just driving the cart path after you finished. Just driving up through there. I totally pictured that in real life, and that little scene blew me away there. So I was very, very cool. So that gets our Coolest Feature Award. Laurel Run Golf Club. That was excellent. Very good job there. All right, so we're moving on here. Top 3. 3 courses left. What do we have next? 3rd place, Silver Lake by Nomi823. Again, as I said with the award, great job here. Winter theme, took a huge risk with that, and I really think it paid off. I love the way the textures he used. Had very good bunkering. I think the one point that let it down was in terms of I think his tee shots were amazing. I think he may have had the best looking tee shots as a group on all the courses. But I didn't feel like the approaches lived up to as much as the tee shots. I thought the views off the tee were spectacular. And then there was a few issues with some sculpting. There were a couple of spots where it was just maybe it could have been I don't know if it was this spot right here, but there was a spot sort of it was like a little river sort of deal, and I think the land could have been lowered down a little bit, or maybe put a retaining wall or something. It was just too much like a brown, maybe because of the theme. It didn't give you the coloring on the land itself, but it just had like this tall brown wall sort of coming up out of the water, and it was a very prominent view that you were looking right at it. So it had a couple of issues like that, but I mean, very well done. I really thought the planting was great. I loved the way the winter theme, how it highlighted, this like the ice on those plants and things. So that was a great job there. Really good. Silver Lake, Nomi823. Definitely give that one a play. Reed Duke says, I'll be stealing that idea for the rock feature. Mayday. Thanks. I totally stole the technique from Arctic Fury. Well, there you go. There is a perfect teacher. If you're going to steal rock techniques from someone, there's the guy to go to. So, excellent. So, 2 courses left. 2 left. I mean, this, like I said, for me, these 2 courses came down to half a point. Most of the guys, I think, it was right there. Very difficult. Extremely difficult decision. There were some things on each of the courses that were just over the top great. Both courses were excellent. So I've got second place listed first. So when I click through, the next page is going to be second place. I'll then switch to first place. We'll talk about both courses, but we're going to show second place first. And then I'll probably just switch right to first. Talk about first, and then I'll come back and talk about second. But so, second place in the rookie design contest goes to Velvet Endelberg Golf Club by Numbers. Great course. So the winner of the design contest, Laurel Run Golf Club by Mayday. Congratulations. Awesome course. Just phenomenal. I mean, really good course. You said Blackwood nailed the Parkland look. I mean, this look, I swear I've played this course in real life. I mean, Laurel Run was awesome. 3 first place votes. It was well deserved of the victory. It was just everything was very, very well done. Really fun course to play. It looked great. Bunkering was good. Everything was good. We were nitpicking to find things what we didn't like about it. I mean, there wasn't really much to say. So, like I said, 3 first place votes. Laurel Run definitely worthy of the first place victory. Golfer Dude says, great job, way to go. Reduce, yep, that's how I'd vote it. Yeah, so let me go back. Let me go back here to Velvet Endelberg. I definitely want to talk about this one because this one definitely deserves its praise. I mean, as you saw, the clubhouse area was phenomenal. I mean, he's got really good attention to detail. He came up with a couple of things that we had to go back, and it was one of those things where, wait a second, how the heck did he do that? And we had to study. There was a bridge that he did. I still don't know how he did it. Along the side, like the left side or something, he had some really cool tee boxes that kind of snaked. It did like an S, and they were very cool looking. Out into a water on a par 3 and a par 4, I think it was, that had like a bridge, sort of like a cart path bridge all along the inside of the hole where the water was. So Velvet, I think, was the most creative and just really interesting in terms of it was weird. It was almost like a theme, like I don't know what the word curve or something theme, but as you can see kind of in the picture, the way this fairway curve, he had a lot of these curves. His bunker had curves to him. It was almost like it was done purposefully, and it worked very well. Very good course, really, really good. Like I said, for me, it came down to half a point. I mean, it was very difficult. In the end, Laurel Run is my type of thing. I don't think my courses match up to it, but that's what I try and do when I build my courses. Realistic, something that you think you've played in real life. You could see yourself playing it in real life. But the Velvet Elvis was awesome. It was a great course. If you haven't played it, you got to go out and play it. Definitely, Numbers did an awesome job with this one. Like I said, there'll be a few spots where you're going to stop and just like, whoa, how the heck did he do that? Or things you're going to stop and look at. But yeah, really, really good. It definitely got a couple of second place votes in there, a third, so he was right up there. Very well done, the Velvet Endelberg. But yes, first place, Laurel Run Golf Club by Mayday. Really good job. Like I said, it was very, very few things to nitpick on that one. But like I said, it's a course you definitely feel like you've played that one in real life. Really good job. Really, really good job. So all 6 of those, the top 6, will make it to the suggested list. And as I said, I'm trying to work out. I'm hoping we can get you something, Mayday. I know I did say from the beginning I didn't know if there would be a prize, and I hope there will be because it's definitely deserving. But yeah, I mean, really good. Really, really good. So again, definitely thanks everybody who submitted courses. Really appreciate it. I know it's very tough to do. Not easy to put your work out there and have everybody check it out, but we had a lot of good courses in there, and like I said, it was very difficult to judge. We had a really hard time. I mean, like I said, we're nitpicking on stuff to try and separate courses out and things. So Mayday says, wow, I don't know what to say, guys. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. It was very deserving. Like I said, 3 of the 4 had you in first, so I think it was a good choice for sure. But yeah, so thanks to Callie, Driver T, CSU Golfer, for doing the judging with me as well. It's not easy, it's tough. Like I said, I kind of like the other contest where I had you guys picking the winner for each round. That was actually easier to do. But yeah, so again, sorry it took so long. I know you guys must have been going nuts wondering what's going on May 1st with the deadline, and it took a long, long time, but it's tough, you know. I guess maybe that's the downside of having 4 judges is you got to try and coordinate with everybody and do all that stuff. But yeah, so glad I was able to get it in. Yeah, I wanted to get it done before the big announcement tomorrow. You guys are really gonna like that. You know, I've seen the build that Anthony has out there. I've been messing around with it. Very, very cool. I mean, you know, with it being tomorrow morning, there's nothing I can say. You guys just have to keep your eyes peeled. You'll get to see it. Very, very cool. Like we said, I think it'll be 9 a.m. Eastern time. Should be the announcement. There's going to be a trailer that should be out as well as with Anthony's dev diary, so you guys get to check out all that fun stuff. Yeah, so got you guys done before the Sony press conference, so enjoy that. Hopefully you've been checking out all the other stuff. Looks pretty cool. I watched the Microsoft conference, was good. Enjoyed that one. Ubisoft had a conference today. They got some neat looking stuff on its way. Some of the other ones, Battlefield 1 looks really good. I have that one pre-ordered already. I'm a fan of that one. I think I don't know if there are any Call of Duty guys out there, but I think they're showing their stuff tonight with the Sony press conference. So hopefully you guys enjoy all of that stuff. Mayday says there were so many excellent courses, lots of different great ideas. Passion for this game is alive and well. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, it was neat to see. There was definitely a lot of different themes, different styles. I mean, like the winter theme used, I thought that was awesome. I was really impressed with someone using that and pulling it off. I mean, I thought Silver Lake was an excellent course. Like I said, I mean, it was very, very difficult to pick a winner. So, you know, even the course in 6th place, it was only a few points difference. So it was definitely good courses out there. Mayday, can't wait for tomorrow. Me neither. Golfer, the Sony one? Shoot, it's either at 8 or 9. Dang it, I forget. 1 second here. I'm just looking up E3 2016. Oops. Let me get it for you guys here. The stream press conferences. Sony says 8:20 Eastern time, so 5:20 Pacific time tonight. Oh, that's the pre-show. That's the IGN pre-show. The actual conference starts at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to watch some pre-stuff, 8:20 on IGN. You can catch it on their Twitch feed. I have it set up twitch.tv/PlayStation. That'll be their press conference via Twitch. I don't know if it's on TV or things like that, but alright guys, so that was it. That was the Rookie Design Contest Results Show. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Definitely thanks to everybody who submitted courses, all 12 of you guys. That was awesome. Again, thanks to the judges, Callie, Driver T, and CSU. I appreciate that. If you haven't hit the follow button down below, please do so. That would be great. Watch it on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. So, I did post in the forums. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it. I know everybody's going to be going nuts and talking and want to see all good stuff and hear more, but there's actually not going to be a stream this Wednesday. I know everybody's going to wants to go crazy and see it. We're going to try and do it Monday. I think that's what we talked about. Anthony is out at E3 all week, so it's just not going to work. He really wants to be a part of the stream and be able to answer as much as he can, you know, and be able to talk about all this stuff. And so he's out at E3. It's just not going to work. There's really not going to be a way for us to get a stream set up and all that. So we're going to wait till he gets back. I think we're going to do it Monday is the last we talked about. Obviously, we want to do it as soon as possible. I think it'll be at 2 o'clock Eastern, but we'll confirm everything up. So again, I apologize, but there will not be a stream on Wednesday like we usually do. But we're going to do one as soon as possible when Anthony gets back. It'll be worth it. But you'll get to see. I mean, I think you'll see the teaser video and the dev diary. We'll talk about a lot of stuff. So you're going to get a lot of info, just in terms of the actual live stream. we're going to wait until Anthony gets back. So, all right, guys. Thank you again to everybody for tuning in, and of course all the designers. Awesome job. Congrats again to Laurel Run Golf Club by Mayday 91283. The first place victory. Stay tuned. Like I said, hopefully we can work out a prize, TBD. But yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I hear something. Obviously, I probably won't hear something till after this week is over, as you could probably understand. But for sure, all 6 will definitely be getting onto the suggested list at some point, the top 6. So, all right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.